This star is called the square star, requires 8 pieces of your colored paper. So again, I have my papers aligned in the color order that I want to make sure I don't end up with 2 whites next to each other or 2 pinks. So I always make sure I have that lined up, and then I'm gonna start by practicing on one of my sheets of paper before I start using the final paper, okay? So the very first thing on the square star is to take your square of paper and fold it in half. In a square, for a square sheet of paper, it doesn't matter if I fold it in half that way or the other way, it's the same fold, okay? So I'm just basically folding it in half and making sure those lines are the sides and edges of my paper are lined up. Then I'm gonna unfold it, and I'm gonna use, a lot of times origami is using the fold lines as a new line to match things up, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. And so now we're gonna take the point top corner, and we're gonna line that up to the fold line we just made, and it's really hard to do that in the air, so I'm gonna do that on the table surface, and then I'm gonna fold that down, okay? So I just took the corner, top corner, folded it to match it up to the fold line, and creased it down. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, and here's where you might find out your cutting skills weren't the greatest on cutting your practice paper, because it might not match up perfectly. Or you might rip your paper a little bit, like I ripped mine at the corner here. No big deal, okay? So this is what it looks like after I've done the first set of folds, okay? So now what I'm gonna do, it's gonna ask me to unfold this, okay? And now I'm gonna use these fold lines that I just made, okay? And here's where it gets a little tricky because the paper is really small right here. I'm gonna actually fold a triangle, a small triangle, and line it up. So I'm just folded the top corner of my paper and lined it up to the fold line that I just made that kind of looked like a house. Okay, and I'm gonna do that on the other side as well. Okay, so here is what it looks like when I finished the second fold. Okay, so for the third fold, I'm gonna actually take my newly creased pieces and I'm just gonna keep them aligned on the fold line, so the fold is right on that line. All I'm gonna do is fold it over and crease it down one more time. So I'm basically kind of like rolling it over the fold. So I already did that fold, so it looked like that, folded it down, and now I'm gonna fold it, and again, folding it on a flat surface is easier than in the air. So now I've got the third fold done. For the fourth fold and the final fold, I'm using the original line that folded my paper in half, and you can see I've already done my fourth fold because you can kind of see the creases here. So I took the corners and folded them up on each side like that. So there we go. Okay. Now when I'm ready and I have the folding all done, what I'm going to do is undo these creases, and I'm going to put some of my glue, glue stick or Elmer's, and I'm just going to use a little bit to glue down these folds so that they don't flap up after I've put my entire triangle or my entire star together. So just go through carefully, gluing each fold so it's secure, like that. So once you feel confident, then you can go ahead and do the 8 folds of your colored paper and then look at the directions on how to assemble your star.